Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Fast Fridays presented by Maconi Setup Shop. We've revamped the format for the series, and tonight we have the NASCAR Craftsman Trucks at Homestead Miami Speedway as our monthly money race, with either a 3-foot custom trophy or $250 cash prize available to whoever wins this race. To all our viewers watching on the iRacing social media channels, good evening and welcome to the show. For those of you who haven't joined us before, Fast Fridays is a weekly series by Maconi Setup Shop, featuring a varying car and track combination each week. With the revamped format we are seeing now, drivers enter in order to race in 3 qualifying races, with the top 20 in points automatically locking in to the money race. My name is William White, and joining me in the booth tonight is Dustin Bullock, aka DLBTV, with David Kritz up in the production booth working the buttons, and using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Dustin, not only are these drivers racing for some awesome prize options as we've mentioned, but are also doing so in a very recently updated vehicle, being the Craftsman Trucks. These cars now handle completely differently here at Homestead Miami Speedway, which is a very multi-groove racetrack with racing across multiple lanes, with tyre saving being key for long run speed. What can we expect to see tonight as the drivers prepare to hit the racetrack?
Let's get it. We got money on the line. What we're going to see tonight, we're going to see what these guys are willing to do for $250. We're talking cash money here tonight. We are night racing. We got a new package. It's week 13. These guys are on a big platform tonight. They want to get their name out there. They want to get the win, get their trophy, or their cash prize. And in between that, we are going to be doing a little bit of night racing. So be ready, because we're going to watch some tires fall off. We're going to watch some beating and banging. It's going to be a fun show ahead. I think at the end of the day, we're just going to see what these guys are willing to do to put it on the line. What it's going to take. What they're willing to do. Will they wreck somebody? Will they get up there and beat and bang? Will they have to play some strategy? We're going to see them get put to the test here tonight at Homestead Miami Speedway.
Well, one thing is for sure, we're going to be treated to some of the best drivers in iRacing, strutting their stuff in front of a very large crowd. They're on the official iRacing Twitch and Facebook channels. Everyone's going to be piling in to see some of the best do what they do best, and that is race hard for some big prizes, $250, or indeed a 3-foot custom trophy on the line. Currently top of the qualifying boards with just over 6 minutes remaining, the 13th of Jared Davis puts in a brilliant lap time, nearly a 10th quicker than the rest of the field there. 32.610, currently in second, just behind him. The 12 of Gabriel Gatti with a 7.03 there. The number 8 there, I believe that's Kartik Casey as well there. Scored is the 18, goes 5th fastest with a 7.77. Dustin, just looking at the entry lists right now that we're seeing here as qualifying continues, are there any names that are jumping out to you there on that entry list?
Oh, there's so many. We got former Coca-Cola Series drivers. We got Maconi in the field. We got some of the iRacing's biggest talents in here. And that's what's going to be on the line here tonight. Not only you're going to have to drive through the toughest talents, you're going to have to go head-to-head with some of the Coca-Cola drivers. This is no easy task. Past and present is going to be on the line to get this deal done.
Yeah, definitely was a scene. Michael Budd start his qualifying procedures, but some of the names you mentioned, obviously ex-Coca-Cola Series driver, one of those being Thomas Lewandowski. We know about his proficiencies in the Silver Crown Cup car, but he can drive pretty much anything. Obviously a veteran of the iRacing service and of the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series for many a year, I believe, starting when it was simply known as the NASCAR iRacing.com World Championships. All the way, probably about a decade or more ago at this point. See Michael Budd hitting the wall there on the outside there in his qualifying run. That will invalidate that particular lap and might spell the end of Michael Budd's qualifying procedure there. Truck number 39 does have a lap set, be his 15th and slowest of those who have a lap at the minute there, 33.923 there. Jared Davis, though, with 4 minutes left to go, still tops the qualifying boards by nearly a 10th of a second. So that was a really good lap. I don't believe there's anyone else out on the track. See Malik Ray now, current Coca-Cola Series driver, now just entering the fray here. Obviously won at Atlanta Motor Speedway, Dustin, but while he's on a track that's the same distance, Homestead Miami Speedway, as we've briefly mentioned, a vastly different track.
Very different than Atlanta. It appears he is stopping. Maybe he got a penalty coming off pit road. It's very easy to go over that commitment line. He's out of the truck currently, so I guess he will not be laying down a lap, or maybe he's going back to change his steering ratio or something of that nature. He's back at it again. We're going to see him get moving, and he's going to get back onto the track. He has 3 minutes and 20 seconds remaining to get a lap in. He's going to have plenty of time, but he is going to hustle off turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. You see him trying to make all the time possible on the access road, and now his lap is about to officially start as he's going to fire it down the back straightaway. This is one of the Coca-Cola iRacing Series talents. As we know here with Fast Fridays, this is a division where anyone can race. You throw a bit of money on the line, you're going to see the stars come out and try to cash out on the Maconi Entertainment Network. The green flag should be waving for Malik Ray as he's going to send it in a turn number 1 and 2 on the bottom group. Now, this is a multi-groove track. You're going to see some guys want the top, some guys are going to want the bottom. I think the bottom groove is always the way to go here at qualifying. So let's see. I think Malik is probably going to put it on pole. He has the big name. He has the speed, but can he do it in the truck? He chose the bottom in 1 and 2. He's going to choose the top in 3 and 4, right up against the wall on the Kyle Larson line, as we call it. And he's going to haul it down the front straightaway and take the white flag for his qualifying lap. He ran a 32.857, officially putting him in the 6th position. He should be tracking in the green as he went to the outside that time by in turn number 1 and 2. This is going to give him a big shot of momentum down the back straightaway. The clock is ticking. He has a minute and 50 seconds remaining off turn number 3 and 4. He's going to send that baby down to the bottom this time by, dripped up on the outside, stand on the throttle, stand on the gas, and at the line, it's going to be a pretty clean lap. It's going to officially jump him to position number 1 on the pole. Malik Ray has went to the top of the chart.
And that's almost a prerequisite for having Malik Ray on a racetrack. Obviously, Maconi's Fast Fridays. You know, it's the money race. It's going to attract the biggest names in iRacing. Malik Ray, chief among them, obviously a Coke Series race winner, teammates with 2022 champion Casey Kerwin over at Spire Motorsports, and I think Jared Davis almost expected his very, very quick lap time to get toppled there by Malik Ray, who is the first driver to dip into the 0.5s, as we see the number 17 Toyota Tundra now trying to set a lap time, see where he can go up the grid there. Joseph Luxness in the number 17. Currently scored 19th, not yet with a lap set. We'll see what Joseph can do. I believe he's on his first lap now. Running the outside in turns 1 and 2, coming into turns 3 and 4 now. Likely using this first lap to build speed in the truck. Trying to get the best run that he can off of turn 4 to start his second lap, the money lap, as it was for Malik Ray, to get himself up to the top of the scoring pylon. We'll see what Glusness can do as he comes to the line. Sets his first lap time, 34.62. Obviously not representative of his pace at the minute. I believe he is stopping. I think he's abandoning that particular run, but all eyes now on Thomas Lewandowski as the ex-Coke Series driver attempts to topple current Coke Series driver Malik Ray. We'll see what he can do in the number 8 machine, the Chevrolet Silverado. With just 6 seconds left on the clock, going to have to get to the finish line quickly if he wants to set this lap time. Currently doesn't have one set. Did he get there?
Oh, I don't know if he did. He didn't.
He didn't.
20th.
Thomas Lewandowski.
Man, it's all about timing, and he didn't make it to the line. Incredible. He tried to be the last guy out there and lay down a hot lap. Unfortunately, by mere inches, he didn't get to the line. Well, as you said, past Coca-Cola Series driver, he wants to prove he still deserves a seat in that Coca-Cola division, and he's going to put it all on the line here tonight, coming from the 20th position. It's going to be a tough ride to get to the front. We got all-stars at the front, all-stars at the back. I'm ready to get this baby started.
We've got some guys making their first appearances on Fridays. Fast Fridays, mixing it with the absolute best in the business. Just have a look at your starting grid here for Fast Fridays. Malik Ray will start on the pole there. The Coke Series driver will have Jared Davis on his outside there in the number 13 machine. Fast Fridays regular Gabriel Gatti in the 12 there will start third. Tyler Bowers on his outside. The namesake of the series, Jeffrey Maconi, will start 5th. Carter Casey with a 777, trying to see how lucky he can be from the 6th position. Nick Hicks there in P7. Tobias Matheson will be in P8. Mitchell Carter and Michael Hafliderson will start in 9th and 10th. And rounding out everyone who managed to get into the 32.9s, Rick Spencer Walk there all the way from Canada in position number 11. Cameron Kane there will start in position number 12 there in the 037 machine there. John Petrozel will be just behind him alongside Alexander Ortega there in row number 7, rounding out the top 15. Craig Martin, Jeffrey Eddy in the 58 will be in P16 with Jonathan Sellers, Michael Budd and Joseph Glucksonis rounding out every driver that set a lap time in qualifying. Thomas Lewandowski, as we mentioned, will have to start from P20, the ex-Coke Series driver looking to prove a point. Gabriel Mauricio and Tyler Merritt are scored just behind them. Daniel Solo, Maurice Barry as well, 23rd and 24th classified in qualifying.
Talk about a big field here tonight. It keeps going. You see it there. We got guys all the way through the field, and these guys who didn't get a lap in, we got 34 all-stars in this race, man. Put it all on the line. There's money on the table. Any of these 34 guys can get it done. Because as we've seen in recent events, these things can turn into a crash fest, or they can be super, super clean. I think it's going to be a bit of everything will be the product here tonight. So, with 100 laps on the line here at Homestead Miami Speedway, you start this thing pushing hard, or like gaining the track position and trying to get up front, or do you immediately start conserving, making sure you have tires? And I think that really goes into the mindset of, are we racing the yellow flags, or are we racing to the checkered flag? If these yellow flags start falling, you may see guys start going a little bit harder because they don't want to lose positions on these short runs. And here you see it, Malik is going to lead them and get the green flag from Homestead, Miami. Just waiting for the pace car to hit pit road. The 13 truck is to his outside of Davis. So all the way through the field, we're about to set them loose here from Homestead, Miami, as Malik Ray is going to lead them off turn number 4. The crowd is on their feet. The pace car is on pit road, and the green flag is officially waving and flying from Homestead, Miami Speedway. It's time ascended into turn number 1 and 2. We got 3 wide for about the 10th position on back. Guys already showing some muscle, showing that they may be the guy to beat. Here comes in. Now the real question, can we complete lap number 1? We got a car on the apron towards the back of the field. He may have lagged out. He may be gone. They're wrecking down the back straightaway. A truck is going to slam the inside wall. There's a 1-car incident, meaning we are going to keep it green as Malik Ray is going to lead them off turn number 4 and get back to the line on lap number 1.
Malik Ray there, Coke Series driver, off to a very, very solid start there. Starting lap 2, miles ahead of the rest of the field, already going to put a few tenths between himself and Jared Davis. Obviously not caution for that single car incident. I believe that was Joseph Glucksonis there towards the back in the 17th. Further back though, that's Ortega there in the 28 we're focusing on. Further back in the pack there, trying to get up a few positions there. He's got Cameron Kane just in front of him. He's got the 81 of Michael Flidderson just below him. You see the multi-group racing, we're already fanning out 2, 3 wide. The Larson line there for Alexander Ortega, trying to find a way past Cameron Kane, but Cameron Kane almost air blocking in through turns 3 and 4. But the longer these runs go on, the likelihood is these will start to be long green flag runs, as typically cautions will be cautions as everyone's packed up together, trying to adapt to their environment, trying to make way and adapt for everyone around them. But obviously you start to single file out, you start to find your own individual rhythm, and I think that's going to be a key for victory here tonight, finding a rhythm and being adaptive to your surroundings. Homestead Miami, a multi-groove track as you're seeing here. There's people down near the apron, down right up by the wall. The key is to know or try and feel out which line is fastest at any given time. That's me, alongside being able to conserve your tyres and have that longevity in your speed. I think being able to adapt to what lines are fastest at any given time and have that racecraft to be able to pull the moves at the bottom and the top, I think is going to be key for victory tonight, Dustin.
Well, for the most part, you typically see the bottom group be the best for saving tire wear. We're seeing a lot of guys already set her loose up on the outside. Them guys are obviously wanting all that track position, and you're seeing there with an aggressive pass from that 037 machine. It looks like he's ready to go almost contact as Carter Casey nearly got into his rear bumper. Thought about taking him 3 wide. Thought better of it. Ray is running away with the lead right now, but the action is about mid-pack as we got 95 laps remaining at the line. We got some blocking going on, almost into the wall goes Carter Casey. He's going to hang on to it as they're all going to be ducking and weaving in turn number 3 and 4. Is there trouble? Oh my goodness, out of control goes to 037 of Cameron Kane. He's going to try to recover down on the apron, maybe try to merge his way back up, but he is dropping many positions all the way down to 20th and still falling going into turn number 1 and 2. I believe he just got a little bit sideways there. Luckily, he did recover and he did save it, but his hands are clearly still full in that race truck.
Yeah, definitely. We know Homestead Miami Speedway, almost notorious for chewing up your right rear tire. No matter what you're driving, these trucks are going to get incredibly loose, going to be prone to a lot of oversteer, especially on corner exit. We saw Cameron Kane fall foul to that just now, managed to save it. So all props to that driver. Further up the field there, you're seeing again Carter Casey in his own little scrap there with the number 13 car. That is Nick Hicks. Carter Casey trying to work his way up into the top 10. Carter Casey on the inside there. Nick Hicks on the outside there. Further up though, Jeff Maconi is going to take the lead there. It was sneaky there from Jeff Maconi. We didn't even realise we were fighting for the lead there. We thought Malik Ray was running away with it, but Malik Ray going to lose the lead to Jeff Maconi and is now facing pressure from Fast Friday's regular Gabriel Gatti there in the number 12 Toyota Tundra. Ray down to second. Maconi, the namesake of the series, taking the lead, but we know how important tyre conservation is here, Dustin. Do you think Jeffrey Maconi might be pushing a little bit too hard, a little bit too soon?
I think Jeff is expecting some yellow flags to fly. I think Jeff is expecting this thing to go no more than 25 laps before we get that first yellow flag. And here's the deal. When we get that yellow flag, we're all coming to pit road. I think what we're seeing right now, Ray is dialing it back a little bit, saying, hey, this thing could go green to the end. If it does, I need tires. We're seeing some other guys from the field really take advantage of that, and they want to throttle up right now. They want to get up there and take the lead, and they're saying, screw that. The yellow flag is coming, and we got to go. We're going to all be on pit road in 10 to 12 laps anyway, assuming that yellow flag flies. So it depends on what your game strategy is. Do you want to have the tires come to the end and play it smart, or do you want to burn them up and go now gambling on a yellow flag? I think really anyone's gambling at this point. Either strategy is a gamble. So it's really just play your hands and see what you got and see how this thing unfolds. Obviously, Ray is playing it a little bit more safe. Now, I don't expect him to fall down to 5th or 7th or 10th. I think he's going to try to keep this baby in the top 5. I think he's going to try to keep these guys from getting around him because he knows the importance of track position and how you don't want to lose all of it while saving your tires, but you definitely want to make sure you're going to have the tire wear come the end regardless on anything that happens around him.
It certainly is a balancing act between weighing up how much track position you're willing to sacrifice in order to save your tyres. Malik Ray obviously having just relinquished the lead there to Jeffrey Maconi. Maconi putting a bit of a gap there on Malik Ray, half a second between the pair. Last time they crossed the start-finish line, we'll have to see how that gap has developed when they next come to the stripe to start lap number 12. But you're absolutely right, Dustin. If you save your tyres too much and sacrifice too much track position, you'll burn your tyres up again, getting back that track position, and you'll gain nothing from it, probably losing. So it certainly is a balancing act that I'm sure Malik Ray in his tenure on iRacing, being a Coca-Cola Series driver, will have mastered. So I'm definitely expecting him to start to come back towards the front later in this stint. We'll see exactly how long these trucks can go on a full green flag run, should they be able to. And we'll see if there are any green flag pit stops for fuel and tyres later on in this run. I think these guys now just a bit conscious of how loose the truck gets on these runs as the right rear tyre begins to wear. They're conscious that maybe a self-spin or two can happen, or an accident can happen that can bring out a yellow flag and derail your strategy, which I think is why these guys are pushing a little bit harder to prioritise track position, as we're still seeing side-by-side battles, 13 laps in. Nick Hicks and Carter Casey still going at it. A little wiggle there, a little bobble from the 30 of Nick Hicks, and that's going to give all the momentum back to Carter Casey, as well as some of the trucks behind him, as Thomas Lewandowski moves to the inside of the 30 truck. We'll see if the 8 can put the move there on the 30. The 8 of Thomas Lewandowski trying to prove that he's still got it after some time out of the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. As he currently sits in position number 11, fighting Nick Hicks for that position. So already up 9 spots Since the start, in just 13 laps, Thomas Lewandowski, one of our big movers of the evening, Justin, and one just behind him, Maurice Barry in the 34. He's up 10 spots as well there. He's gone from 23rd to 13th, looking for 12. So some big movers early on, Justin. Or Dustin.
On the move goes that 34 truck, and man, that 8 is flying to the front of the field. I mean, we knew him starting in that 20th position with the experience he has. He's going to get there, and you're seeing it now. He is making it happen. Will he take him 3 wide here? And I'm honestly very curious on how much he's saving the tires right now. He's made it to the 12th position. He's still moving through the front of the field. He didn't get a qualifying lap, unfortunately. He probably feels like he may have got robbed out of this $250 reward. But he's trying to man up, get on the wheel, and go make this baby happen. Just picking up position after position. If he snags the Stu in front of him, guess what? That means top 10. But look at this contact. There's a 30. Has got to the rear bumper of the 34. That about got big as they're about to go 3 wide here, potentially 3 wide off turn number 2. It looks like everyone's going to straighten it out, back down to 2 wide, but the aggression level is heating up back here for the 10th position. Up front, we're seeing nothing but single file. So, as these guys are really trying to lay it out in the line, they got to be smart. Long run, they got to keep that in mind. But I think we're going to see 3 wide, and that could end in smoke and fire if these guys are not careful. Here we come. Barry on the outside on the 34, trying to tuck in behind truck number 8. Trying to make a pass on the outside and put his way up inside the top 10 because it's right there in front of him. Now, I would imagine the guys leading this pack right here probably have burned up their stuff and maybe holding a few of these guys up. It's going to be interesting. Here we go. A little block there from the 8. Fortunately, the 34 dove it in deep enough for that not to be an issue, and he's really going to send that baby down on the inside. And here we go, off turn number 4, the race is on, the action's heating up. We are approaching the 25% mark, approaching the first quarter of the Maconi Entertainment Challenge.
Yeah, running with this pack here, led by Tobias Matheson and Rick Spencer-Walt there in and around the top 10. See Mitchell Carter and John Petrozel entering pit lane very early, it would seem. They're just lap 18 of proceedings so far here at Homestead. It's very interesting to see why they're coming to pit road this early, but back up near the top 10, Maurice Barry and Tobias Matheson jockeying for that 9th position there. Thomas Lewandowski just behind them, as well as Rick Spencer-Walt there. Spencer-Walt there, I think, has just lost a couple of positions in this little kerfuffle that we've got going on here. It's the 75 again. Tobias Matheson dives down to the inside. Maurice Barry trying to hold it up on the high side. Thomas Lewandowski in tow. Everyone finding their own lane, finding their own rhythm. We're knee deep into a long run now, nearly 20 laps, and it's going to be those guys that have saved their tyres just that little bit better than the rest that will start to rise to the front as Thomas Lewandowski managed to squeak past Tobias Matheson to move to Thomas Lewandowski up to P9. He'll be looking to pressure Maurice Barry there for P8, with just in front of them Gabriel Gatti next in their sights there in 7th place. You see the number 12 truck is just fallen off the lead pack just a little bit there, running the outside groove there. You can imagine some worn tyre troubles for the number 12 as Maurice Barry and company start to close in there. Coming out of turn number 2 looks to be a lot better momentum for these drivers as Gabriel Gatti, looking at the lap times, about 0.3 of a second per lap slower than the chasing pack. So I wonder if maybe Gabriel Gatti has either shot his tyres as Maurice Barry goes for the move to the inside of the 12, or maybe the 12 has had some contact that we haven't seen that has inflicted some damage onto that Toyota Tundra. But one thing is for sure, he's not able to put up much of a fight as Maurice Barry goes up to P7. Thomas Lewandowski trying to follow him through. So Dustin, we're seeing now the evolution of the track and the multi-groove racing, and we're seeing some guys who didn't save their tyres quite as well begin to fall back through the pack.
My biggest thing is we've seen a few trucks already hit pit road. Potentially they're trying to short pit, but an upper hand coming into this run because they know they already burned up their tires, so they might as well go ahead and bring it to pit road. Not necessarily for the tire wear, but they're trying to get an upper hand on the leaders here of where they think that they can gap them by 1/4 of a second, 1/2 a second a lap, and really make that strategy work. So they're hoping this baby stays green, and we see all the leaders come to pit road, and these guys maybe got a 5 or 10 lap gap on them of where they can gain all that track position back, maybe get a yellow flag later on and hold that track position. But right now, as we're watching the leaders, we do got Ray up front, he has gotten back around Maconi, so we have seen him really take off here as the battle for the lead is heating up, and we do got a new leader up front. Malik Ray back to the point, leading, holding it up front. A check out from Jeff Maconi. So that raises the question, did Maconi burn his stuff up, or did Maconi dial it back a little bit and say, hey, maybe I need to save, maybe I need to make sure I need to be there at the end?
I'm looking at the times right now and just the gap that Malik Ray has put on Maconi and the rest of the field there. Just crossing the stripe now, Malik Ray nearly 2 seconds clear of those behind him, 1.78 at the line, a 34 flat for Ray last time by a 34.3 from Maconi. Obviously, we saw Maconi take the lead around that 8. So that, to me, says that Jeff Maconi and those behind him, those around him, burned their tyres up just a little bit too quick. I think they anticipated a shorter green flag run, maybe anticipating an early caution around that 10-15 mark. But I think Malik Ray played his cards right, saw that once we got half a dozen laps in, where everyone sort of settled into their own rhythm, that we were going to get a long run. And now, nearly a quarter of the way through the race, he has saved his tyres the best, and I think that's Stuckness, I believe, there, Glucksness, coming into pit road there in the number 17 there, has gone a lap down there, but Malik Ray, officially now, 2 seconds the gap between himself and Jeffrey Maconi, gaining about 3/10 a lap. He's looking stout out in front, unfazed, very, very smooth. You're not seeing, his hands are not really full of the wheel at all. He is looking very smooth, calm and calculated up at the point as we ride on board there with the number 15 Chevrolet Dustin.
I think we definitely seen him dial it back early on to save them tires, and even watching this group now, he's keeping it on the bottom. He's not pushing it hard right now, moving up against the wall. You can see he's trying to keep a very steady steering wheel. He's doing everything to save his tires still, and obviously he has saved them a little bit better than the guys around him. He's continuing to save. Don't think that he's dropping the hammer quite yet, because he's playing this as the long game. We may not see him drop the hammer tonight if they stay green. He may continue just conserving the tires, and at about 50 to 70%, just hanging on to it up front. Right now, he has no reason to push it. He has a sizable lead. He doesn't need to check out. He doesn't need to burn off the tires. He can just keep running that bottom, fading on the bottom. Being a bottom feeder here at tracks like Homestead, Miami is so beneficial, because it keeps the tires on it and you can just stay at your own pace. This is what we like to call racing the track, and that's exactly what Malik Ray is doing right now at the moment. He's not worried about his competitors. He's not worried about the guys around him. He's worried about racing this track and racing himself. And the only person that can beat Malik Ray right now is himself. So he's making sure he's not going to be that guy. Now, the action is heating up back here because we got some drivers on the move. Tell us about it.
Absolutely. Well, we mentioned earlier, Thomas Lewandowski, one of the big movers there, started 20th. He's now looking for 6th place out of Michael Flitterson, and I think he's going to get it. Looking very, very quick in that number 8 machine there, trying to work his way past the number 81 Alken machine there. Up in the middle groove, that's the 81 of Michael Flitterson, and Flitterson definitely putting up a fight there. He's not slow by any means, but looks like he got a bit of handful of wheel there, got a little bit loose in the 81, and he's going to lose that particular scrap. Thomas Lewandowski now up into 6th place, but an even bigger mover. He's up 18 positions since the start. There were 23 starters. He started 23rd. Maurice Barry now up to 5th, and he's looking quick. He is currently faster than everyone in front of him, bar Malik Ray. So Maurice Barry, 2nd fastest truck on the track right now. That 34 is flying, Dustin.
Reese Berry is hauling it. We have seen him, just like Thomas, drive his way to the front of the field and almost following straight in his tire tracks. But I mean, right now he's following in his tire tracks. So we've seen them be racy all night. We got another truck on pit road, out of the truck, not in the truck, possibly calling it quits here. Maybe he got some damage as Jason Parkson is going to stop on the back straightaway, call it quits. Maybe he received some damage, maybe he got meatball flagged, maybe he just got tired of running there. But either way, he's out of this thing. The battle for the lead is definitely still looking a little bit sizable. We do got some lap traffic. You see some cars pushing it pretty hard. That's the difference between tires and no tires. I mean, you can just see how much faster this truck is with tires. If you are Malik Ray, I think you really got to have a lap in mind on when you're going to hit the pits, because it's looking like this baby's going to stay green. If that's the case, you got to think, most likely, you're going to aim for about that 50-lap window if you can make it to lap number 50. If you can, you're probably going to aim for that 50-lap window cut the race in half, and then just try and make it the final 50 and bring that baby home with a W.
Yeah, definitely. I think when it comes to these sort of green flag pit strategies, I think if your truck can make it halfway in this sort of situation, you would just take it to lap 50. Maybe take it either one lap under, one lap over, depending on who you're racing. Do you want to try and undercut? Do you want to try and overcut? Typically, in this sort of racing, you want to try and undercut. Just get ahead of your rival. You put earlier than them. You have the advantage of fresh tyres to make up the deficit that you would have lost from pitting, so that when they come out the pits a lap or two after you, you can fly past them and use those fresher tyres. The offset of that being that your tyres are a lap or two older than theirs, which then gives them that advantage behind you. So it is very much that balancing act, those pros and cons that you weigh up. But we're riding on board with Jeff Maconi here. I'm wondering what's going on inside his head right now, because he was fighting hard with the 57 there of Tyler Bowers there, who has taken second place. But the pair of them now, they've spread out, and they themselves are 4 seconds back from Malik Cray. I do wonder now that we've got a third of the way through the race. It's lap 33. We're coming to lap 34. Assuming that that magic pit number is around lap 50, Dustin, are we going to see these guys for these last dozen laps or so just kind of back it down and just make it to lap 50 and try and ensure that there isn't any yellow flags up to this point until at least lap 50?
So, I think if you did burn your tires off, we don't know Maconi's scenario, but say if he did burn his tires off, he's probably just going to hope for a yellow and try his best to ride this thing out. He seems to be in pretty good shape. He's going to drop a little bit, but he's not going to drop like a rock. I think if he can hang on to a top 5 for the next 15 laps, that's more than he could probably ask for. And obviously, we got some guys charging to the front of the field. Some guys necessarily, they may be a little bit faster, just didn't get a qualifying lap in, and they're just going up there and taking the positions that they probably felt like they should have qualified in. But as far as Maconi and say any of these other guys that may be in trouble, you're just hoping for a yellow and just trying to not drop everything. Here we go! Oh no! He's gonna go around the 34. What a save by the driver of the 34 truck. Incredible! Almost went around, but he saved it.
Wow! The 34 Maurice Barry was all types of sideways coming off of turn 2 there. He had about 3 separate spins, and yet he managed to keep his foot in it and just wheel that truck to safety. All the while, there is not a dent on that truck. Look at it again. Look, he's got a handful of wheel, 90 degrees to the left, about 200 degrees to the right, chucking that steering wheel about, and he saves it before he gets to turn 3. Only loses, really, a position for his trouble. Jared Davis there, just squeaking past the number 34, who, while he has saved it and his truck is all in one piece, no doubt, his tyres are going to be screaming for help after that one. They are going to be hot as a volcano. I think he just needs to take a handful of laps now, cool the tyres down so that he doesn't go for another spin or another half spin or anything like that, and just get his head back in the game, try and work off that mistake and try again. He got past Jared Davis, was working on taking that podium place away from Jeffrey Maconi before that little half spin that he had there. So we know he's fast, he knows he's fast, he just needs to try and get back in that positive headspace, no mistakes from now on, because he's got a very quick Thomas Lewandowski behind him in P6, who is willing to capitalise on any extra mistakes that Maurice Berry might make. But we've got a caution out on the speedway. That is the 31 of Rick Spencer-Wolf facing the complete wrong direction, and that is no doubt going to send a spanner in the works of any strategy. There is some big damage to the front of that Chevrolet. We'll see what happened here on the Maconi Entertainment replay. Might have involved the 28 of Alexander Ortega there, up on the high side there. The Xfinity Ford F-150 might have been involved in this, and I think Ortega got loose, and that is a big impact there into the outside wall for Rick Spencer. That did involve the 28 of Alexander Ortega, and that on lap 39 of 100, just before the halfway point, will bring out the safety car, Dustin.
I mean, you've seen it right there. Rick just got very sideways off turn number 4. This could be the result of either short pitting and trying to get the most out of it, or maybe he just burned them tires off of it. But definitely all that we do know from the number 31 truck is he's junked. That truck has a lot of damage on it, and that's not going to be easy to repair. Now, if you're Jeff Maconi, this is just what you asked for. You don't got to bleed back anymore. You got the yellow flag you needed, and we're approaching the halfway marker. The pits are open. Maconi's going to have a good pit box up here, so pay attention between him and Malik Ray, because they're going to benefit big. Some of these guys that charged in the back, they're definitely going to benefit from this, but they may not gain all the positions on pit road like some of these front runners that got better pit boxes towards the front. Malik Ray bringing that baby up pit road for 4 new tires and fuel. You're just telling yourself, don't slide them. Make sure you get off good. There's the rights going on, the lefts going on. Will there be any strategy? Anyone taking 2 tires? I highly doubt it because the tire wear is going to be so important. But here we go. The race off pit road is on, and Malik Ray is going to beat him off. Maconi comes up in position number 3.
Yeah, the order staying largely the same there with little strategy variants on pit road. Pretty much everyone taking 4 tyres and fuel there. Considering it was a near 40-lap green run there to start the race, I think that was pretty much a given. Malik Ray maintains the lead there off of pit road. He will catch up to the iRacing.com safety vehicle and begin this caution procession before we go back green. Probably about 2 or 3 laps time there. The field led by the 15 of Malik Ray, who was really moving at the end of that run there. I think got as far as 5.5 seconds clear of the rest of the field behind him. So definitely watch for Malik Ray to again try and build that gap. But obviously, we didn't see Malik Ray start to build that gap until about 20 laps into the run. So we've got a restart to deal with now. Does Malik Ray again begin to drop back, or is he conscious of the fact that cautions may breed cautions, and is he going to try and be more he's going to prioritize track position more on this particular restart compared to maybe the initial race start, Dustin?
It's a tough deal. I think he probably took a lot of notes from the beginning, but he's looking at some hard chargers behind him that drove from the back that most likely is going to have something for him. It's just a matter of time to see if they can get up there. I think you don't want to get passed by these guys. I think you want to keep that 34 in your rearview mirror at all costs. I think if the 34 gets up front, there's a good chance he may sneak away on them. So that's the gameplay that's going to be in hand here. I think Malik Ray, he's going to go easy, but he's not going to want to get past. I think he's going to be very aware of who he's racing and who's around him and how hard they are pushing it. But he knows he has a great truck. After about 10 laps in, 15 laps in, he's one of the fastest trucks. I think he has to keep that in mind and just know what he brings to the table and keep doing, as I talked about earlier, racing the track, and don't beat yourself. If he doesn't beat himself, he may be the guy to win here come tonight and take home that $250 prize.
Malik Ray has definitely been asserting himself as the class of the field here at Homestead Miami Speedway. We're doubling up now behind the iRacing.com safety vehicle. The lights are off. That means that we'll be going green next time by lap 43. Will mark the end of the first caution period here at Homestead, and we'll definitely see it's part of the art of tyre saving is being able to do the minimum amount of pushing while still keeping the cars behind you and not forfeiting absolutely all of your track position. It's certainly that balancing act that we mentioned earlier, but Malik Ray's got familiar faces around him. Tyler Bowers, Jared Davis, Jeff Maconi, all started in and around that top 5. They are still there with him now, occupying the top 4 positions. So we'll see how hard Malik Ray pushes on this particular restart compared to the race start on lap number 1. See if he pushes any harder, see if he takes it any easier. We'll see if and when that changes in the early portions of this second run, but that is simply a waiting game for us viewers. The iRacing.com pace car will pull off into the pit lane momentarily to restart this race. Going to hand the field over to the control of Malik Ray. He's going to enter the Geico restart zone. He'll have control of the restart for the first time tonight, and he's going to catch the field sleeping. A good jump for Malik Ray. He's going to get clear of the rest of the field there into turn 1. Malik Ray leads the field into turns 1 and 2. Behind them, everyone else will jockey for position there. Tyler Bowers will lose out to second place. Jeffrey Maconi takes P2 off of turn number 2. Bowers drops down to P3 as they're fanning out 2-3 abreast behind them. As Matheson, Kane and Gatti fighting in and around 12th place there. 3 abreast there for those particular drivers, but they fanned out 2-3 wide throughout 5th on back as they jockey for position, trying to find their own individual rhythm. But still out front, as it has been a constant all night long, Malik Ray leading this race single file, unchallenged for the time being. Jeff Maconi, though, not willing to give it up easily. It's just a couple of minutes behind Malik Ray, pushing early on in this run again. Does he choose to push early on again? Or will Jeff Maconi decide to hang back and try and employ the same strategy that Malik Ray employed earlier on in that first race start? We'll have to wait and see that.
Absolutely, Maconi was the big winner on that restart. Gained all the positions he could ask for. Got like a missile going into turn number 1, and he's on the move. We've seen Maconi go really hard at the beginning stint of this race. It seems like he's going hard once again, but back here's where the racing is picking up almost into the wall. They're door slamming each other down the back straightaway. They're 3x3. Somebody has to give. Back down a 2 wide, spoke too soon, 3 wide off turn number 3, headed into 4, or are we going to see 4 wide at Homestead Miami Speedway? The action is heating up as we're seeing this battle. Maconi has closed the gap. He has got all the way to the rear bumper of Malik Ray. Now trying to make a move on him down the back straightaway. Maconi, I think he's going to do it. I think he's going to go to the point. But will Malik give it up so easily? Maconi, top, down to the bottom. He rolled it, he faked him out, and now he's on his rear bumper. Maconi's trying to get the crossover off turn number 4. Not going to quite do it, but he is tracking in the green, making that car in his front windshield bigger and bigger by the second. Here he goes again, both trucks down to the bottom. I think if you're Maconi, you may have to do it up top unless you can really get the momentum up. Here we go once again, now down the back straightaway. Maconi looking to make the pass. Not going to quite happen yet. Everything is settling down a little bit. Maconi looked low, trying to fake him out. Just waiting for him to open up that door. He has help coming behind him. That 28 truck is on the move as the racing is picking up here from Homestead Miami Speedway.
I think if Maconi wants to make the move on Malik Ray, he has to do so using those higher lanes. Alexander Ortega way up to the top side. He's got some brilliant momentum there. Right near the wall there. He might get past both of them. Off of turn number 2, he's side by side with Maconi. He's side by side with Malik Ray. Alexander Ortega straight to the lead here at Homestead, and by an absolute mile. That 28 truck is absolutely flying as they jockey for position behind them. Malik Ray might drop down to 4th. He's got Maurice Barry and Jared Davis on his outside there. The 15 facing pressure from a ton of trucks behind him as Alexander Ortega takes off. He's already 6/10 clear of the rest of the field. He was nearly a second faster on that last lap than Malik Ray and company behind him. We'll see if Ortega can maintain that pace for the rest of this run as Malik Ray manages to clear Davis and Barry behind him there. For positions number 2 as Barry and Davis continue to fight between themselves for that final podium position. We saw in that first start, we're riding on board with him now, Malik Ray. We're looking from his deck cleared to the fight for 3rd behind him. We saw Malik Ray run the bottom of the racetrack pretty much all run long at the start of this race, but now on this second restart we've seen him occasionally track up to that middle lane. We talked about adaptability at the top of the show. You need to figure out which line is fastest at any given time. We saw Ortega fly to the point way up by the wall. Malik Ray might be looking at that and just thinking that that is a line that he can use later in this run once he feels he has sufficiently conserved his Goodyear rubber. But for now,
Maconi's on pit road.
Maconi's pit road.
Is he on pit road? I think I've seen his truck dive off there. Somebody definitely hit pit road. Maconi is on pit road. You see it there, the 03 is bringing it down. I can only imagine why. He just took tires. Why is the 03 on pit road?
We'll have to see how long he takes in the pit box here. These guys do have one fast repair at their dispensation here, but Jeff Maconi hasn't exited his pit box exceptionally quickly there. He is now moving again and has come out of the pits. I am very intrigued to see if maybe... Now, we don't know exactly how long these trucks can go on one tank of Sunoco fuel. Could this be a fuel economy thing? Could this be a fuel mileage thing? Is Jeff Maconi topping off early doors to have the advantage on everyone else that might have to be a bit later in the run? Is it possible that these trucks cannot make it to the end?
It's going to be tough. I mean, we went very long in the first half of this race, you know, almost a full 50 laps. about 10 laps short from that, but we can definitely go 40. I feel like it's a huge gamble because there's a yellow flag that very well could drop before the end of this thing. I don't see it. I would like to know the reasoning behind it, but I'm sure he has a strategy in mind, and that very well could be it. And maybe he's just, you know, saying that he wants throw in the gamble and feels like he can't compete with some of these guys up front and feels like he has to out-strategy them in order to pull off the win. That very well be what he's trying to do in that 0-3 truck.
I mean, it definitely could be a source of advantage there for the 0-3 of Jeff Maconi. It's just one of the theories I have, because his truck didn't look damaged really at all, and he wasn't... I could tell by how long he was in the pit box. He didn't use his faster repair. These guys do have one at their disposal, and I'll tell you what, he has flown past Alexander Ortega. I do wonder if he has taken a set of tyres, whether by accident or not. Obviously, these guys using their black boxes to decide what they're taking at any particular pit stop. But Jeff Maconi showing some lightning pace, just looking at the lap times here. A 33.344 compared to a 33.679 for Alexander Ortega, who currently leads this race. As Malik Ray, all the way back to 12th, I'm just looking here. He is fighting the third truck there. He's now down to 13th. Malik Ray.
Saving.
He must be ultra saving.
100% saving tires. These guys up front know that money's on the line, and they're dropping the hammer. This guy is saving. He may not be the fastest truck on track, but he definitely has top 3, maybe even top 2 speed in that truck. I think he is conserving. I think he's paying attention to his lap times, and he's making sure he's not running anything different than he did for the first half of this thing. He's 4.5 seconds off. We're going to keep an eye on that as we continue, because I look for him to really close that window in the next 20 laps. When we get down to about 25 remaining, I would expect him to find his way back inside the top 5. When we get down to about 5 remaining, hopefully we'll find him inside the top 3, or if not, in the lead. So it's going to be interesting to see if Malik can really drive his way back up to the front of the field. Right now, he's not even focused on it. He's racing the track, making sure he's not beating himself, watching his lap times. We're going to see him pull down to the bottom. He's continuing to run that bottom groove and take care of his equipment, take care of his car, and just be there at the end. But when you put yourself farther back like this, you're also putting yourself in a very dangerous position, because there's guys around him that may be pushing it 100% every single lap, who is not going to back off and could potentially, unintentionally, take you out.
Definitely, it's definitely one of those things you balance out, but I've never honestly seen someone save tires this aggressively as Malik Ray is still barely holding on to P13 there. He's got Jonathan Sellers there and Bud just behind him there in the number 39 machine, and that's the fight for 13th, 14th and 15th there, with Daniel Solo just making his way past Malik Ray a couple of laps ago. Just a little bit further up the racetrack though, Rick Spencer walked there in the number 7 position there, has got Nick Hicks just behind him there. He's now fighting Tyler Bowers there for P8 and P9, as Nick Hicks there with a bit of a blink there. Connectivity issues there, so he is back now though, but definitely a little bit of a scare there for the 57 there, trying to judge where the 30 is while he's doing some Back to the Future impressions there. Up on the high side there as Rick Spencer walked Tyler Bowers take to the low side. So I am curious to see if maybe some guys taking a leaf out of Malik Ray's book there. We're seeing a handful more drivers taking very much to the apron, trying to conserve their time. And I think maybe Malik Ray's just taking note of that. And, you know, maybe it's a fuel saving strategy, maybe it's a tire saving strategy on top of that. But maybe it's taking a long green run.
They can't make it to the end on fuel. They can do 55 laps is a bit of a gamble. They can do 50. So, what we're being told is that Malik is actually saving fuel right now. And that would explain why Maconi came in, topped off on fuel, because none of these guys can make it. They can start saving, then that tells me Malik is in the strategy of I'm going to save, and I think I can make it. So let's keep an eye on that, as they almost wiped each other out there, going through turn number 3 and 4. Fortunately, everyone's going to hold it straight, but saving fuel, conserving fuel is now the trick. We're seeing more guys hit pit road and top up on fuel. They cannot make it.
Very interesting. This was the leader, the 28, Alexander Ortega. We saw him rocket to the lead earlier on in this race. I think he's taking tires. I think I saw the right side of that truck get jacked up there by his virtual pit crew there. So, interesting there. But yeah, Malik Gray saving fuel as well. We did think that this was a very aggressive tyre saving strategy, but the fact he's saving fuel as well would explain the rate at which he has gone back through the pack there. He's now P14, just been overtaken by fellow Coke Series veteran Thomas Lewandowski there in the number 8 machine. Obviously, Alexander Ortega has taken to pit road as well. Jeff Maconi took to pit road just about 3 laps after we went back green. So I think those 3 trucks there, Alexander Ortega, Jeffrey Maconi, and Malik Gray, those are going to be your trucks to watch as the strategists, as it were, for this particular race. As you see Malik Gray now starting to he's got back past Daniel Solo there in the number 13 machine there. So again, starting to maybe make his way back up. Has Malik Gray managed to save just enough fuel, save just enough tyres now to start working his way back through the pack? 38 laps to go. He's now just behind Thomas Lewandowski there, fighting for position number 11.
Absolutely is go time. The money is on the line, and strategy is playing out with everyone through the field. Oh man, that's going to be incredible just to watch this thing play out, because this is anyone's race. We got guys in the back that came in early, topped off on fuel, like Maconi. We got guys back there who's massively saving fuel, like Malik is just trying to make it to the end and stretch it. Who's going to win this thing? The guys who came in early, or the guys who's trying to stretch it? And then we got guys like Barry up front and Davis up front, and their game plan is push as hard as possible, come in with maybe 5 or 10 remaining, and top up on your fuel when you need it, or hope you get a yellow flag, and it's a game changer for everyone throughout the field. Everyone's strategy is spoiled except for the leaders if that yellow flag drops, so keep that in mind, because this very well can get big.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, Malik Gray, Jeff Maconi, and Alex Ortega obviously trying to take that proactive strategy and try and preempt a long green flag run to the end of this race here at Homestead. They're predicting now that, again, as I theorized earlier, once we get sort of half a dozen laps in, everyone finds their rhythm, we're likely to get a long green flag run. And that first stint was only stopped by a 2-car incident where we saw someone just kind of fall foul of that oversteer that we saw with the right rear tyre getting worn out. But other than that, after about 10 laps or so, these guys start to look really clean and really calculated out on the track. So I think once you sort of get those laps down, I think cleanliness is definitely predictable, and I think long green runs are definitely the way to go in terms of what you'd build your strategy around. And I think Malik Gray, Jeff Maconi, Alexander Ortega have taken that prerogative. But obviously, if a yellow flag were to come out, that changes everything, because that now allows people like our leaders, Maurice Barry, Jared Davis, Cameron Kane, who haven't taken that prerogative as of yet to come down pit road early and service their race machines. They would then have the option to pit under yellow flag conditions, essentially get a free pit stop, and that puts everyone on a level playing field. But guys like Malik Gray, Jeff Maconi, Alex Ortega, they would have sacrificed track position trying to save earlier, so that puts them in a bad position. So definitely multiple things to watch, as well as the on-track action here. We're looking at Rick Spencer-Walt there and Nick Hicks there, fighting for 6th and 7th place there. Nick Hicks up on the high side, Rick Spencer-Walt there down low there. Nick Hicks, I think, taking 6th place there away from the 31. The 31 unable to respond. Now back to the low side, still side by side here, Dustin, but there's not a lot of massive battles going on apart from this fight between the 31 and the 30. I think people are starting to save.
Oh, we got Maconi running in the 17th position. He is leading the guys that can 1000% make it to the end on fuel. That very well could be the fight for the win, the fight for the $250 reward, as more trucks are calling it quits and hitting pit road. The 34 is now in. He's on pit road. Will it be tires, or will he just top off on fuel? He is taking right side tires on that truck. What's going to be curious to see, will he come out anything close to Maconi, who is running in what would be now the 16th position? Because that battle is going to shape up with Barry trying to hang on to it, and I think Maconi may cycle around right here in front of him, and he will. But this is going to give Barry a little bit fresher tires to potentially run down that gap. Right now, Maconi is leading this baby, not physically, but out of all the guys who hit pit road, and that may be all it takes come the end. 30 remaining from Homestead Miami Speedway. The strategy is unfolding. The pressure is mounting, and this is it. It's time to get up on the wheel, put it all on the line, and cash out some chips here. It's time to make that money here from Homestead.
Well, definitely. I mean, that just gives us another truck to watch here. Maurice Barry is obviously going to be lightning quick on a fresh set of boots there. We saw him fly past Cameron Kane there, so now he's trying to unlap himself. Rick Spencer Wolf there in the 31. He comes down pit road now in that Chevrolet Silverado, so another truck cutting his losses there with 30 to go. Realizes he cannot make it and cannot quite save enough potentially, like Malik Ray has done earlier on in this stint, and has instead elected to refuel that truck. So it's interesting, at the beginning of this run we immediately saw two different ways of combating the fact that you couldn't make it to the end on fuel. Jeff Maconi came to pit road early, refueled, and made absolutely certain that he could make it. Malik Ray dropped back, did not sacrifice the 20-30 seconds, about a lap, that you take to come to pit road, and instead try to systematically save his tyres and lose as little time as possible in doing so. Jeffrey Eddy now on the 58 machine comes down pit road there, pulls into his pit stall, going to get some service from his virtual pit crew with 29 laps to go. So interesting, Jeff Maconi now cycling up to P15, will be about P14 when he cycles past the 58 of Eddy there. Alexander Ortega just a couple seconds behind Jeff Maconi there. He's in 16th. Malik Ray still trying to save. He's up to 10th there. Now up to 9th as he cycles past some guys that have pitted. He's got Thomas Lewandowski still in front of him. So those are those sort of handful of trucks that you're watching. Malik Ray, Jeff Maconi, Alex Ortega, and now guys like Jeffrey Eddy as well. Maurice Barry entering the fray. We're seeing a lot of different strategies here at Homestead, Dustin.
Strategy is the name of the race. The 037 truck now calling it quits. Man, I mean, I'm looking at the battle between Malik and Maconi. Say Malik can somehow pull off a miracle, save him on fuel, it will make it to the end. But can he hold off Maconi with a little bit fresher tires on that truck? That's the big question, and that's what we got to keep in mind. That's a battle that we're not really talking about right now, but just keep Malik in mind. There's a good chance he may be able to stretch it. There's not many cars left that hasn't pitted yet, because Malik Ray has found his way to the 6th position. And as we're looking back, Maconi may have not passed, and he did.
Yeah, it certainly has, yeah. So that is another crucial change in position there. Jeff Maconi and Alex Ortega swapping spots there. Alex Ortega up to P12 on the track, P13. Jeff Maconi again, despite what we've seen from Malik Ray, especially in that initial stint, running the bottom around the track seems to be best for your tyres on the long run. Jeff Maconi, saw in turns 3 and 4, running that high side. We see Maurice Barry now, as him and Maconi jockey for position. Obviously Maurice Barry on far fresher tyres, blows past the 0-3. Maurice Barry going up a lane or two to get past the 0-3. So we're still seeing guys employ that multi-groove strategy, trying to use any lane they can to get past their rival, despite what it may do to their tyres. But now we're seeing some of these guys like Thomas Lewandowski, Daniel Solo, Malik Ray, beg your pardon, who have cycled to the front by saving their fuel and tyres. They're not near the front. They only have Carter Casey up ahead of them 4 seconds up the road, who has seemingly not employed any major saving strategy. So this should put Malik Ray, pole sitter and long-time race leader, into a net P3 with Thomas Lewandowski net leader, pending a pit stop from Carter Casey. And, you know, again, we'll have to see how fuel economy looks for the guys like Thomas Lewandowski, Daniel Solo, Malik Ray, Michael Flederson as well, just behind them Michael Budd, who have all kind of settled in around that 10th to 15th spot, saving their fuel and tyres for this long run. We'll see if it pays dividends for them come the end of this race, but still staying out, committing to this strategy of potentially hoping for a yellow. Carter Casey in the 8 machine is still leading by about 3.5 seconds.
These leaders are hoping for a yellow. At this point, they're going to need it. They have not saved enough. I don't feel like they're going to be able to make it to the end on fuel unless it's an absolute miracle. I think they are begging for a yellow, 23 laps remaining. So with that in the back of their minds, they want to probably think about when they're going to pit. And unless they're just going to drive this thing till it runs out of gas, some of them very well may do. I'm thinking they may maximum be able to make it another 15 to 18 laps at most. I think a lot of them are probably going to be around 5 laps short, 7 laps short, and I feel like a lot of them are not going to be able to make it. But they're doing a heck of a job at trying, and you got to give them credit for that. I mean, a lot of these new, they're not going to be able to go and outdrive some of these fast guys to get that $250 reward. But can they play the crew chief role, out-strategy them, save enough fuel, and win it that way? Racing is more about being the best driver, especially on iRacing. Sometimes it's about being the best crew chief. Sometimes it's about being the best, setup. Sometimes it's about being the best everything overall. And right now, we're just seeing guys do what they got to do to try to win. Almost contact there as Malik Ray almost got shot up a track by truck number 12, who is on fresher tires and who is trucking his way up to the front at all cost.
Yeah, Gabriel Gatti, in the process of unlapping himself, has obviously recently pitted to get some tires.
Another one up the hill.
Almost moved the number 13 truck.
Oh, he did move him.
He did move him into the back bumper there. Definitely
Bro ain't wasting no time.
12. Absolutely, he wants to unlap himself fast. Obviously, you do run the risk from pitting under green flag conditions. If a caution comes out, you could be trapped a lap down, and that is essentially, especially at this point in the race, 20 laps to go, that is game over. As you see, riding on board with the number 12 of Gabriel Gatti, that is race leader Carter Casey in his windshield there. Obviously, he'll be catching Casey at a rate of knots that will efficiently unlap the number 12 machine. Obviously, he'll have to go around again if he wants to take the race lead, but unlikely that he'll be able to do that lest he attach some jet rockets to the back of that Toyota Tundra. But with just 19 laps to go, Carter Casey still committing to the strategy, but I don't know if he saved enough. 50 is kind of the magic number. 50 laps is around, on average, how long these trucks will go. 55 if you really save well, maybe under caution periods, or like Malik Ray has done, clutching into the corners to completely minimize the amount of revolutions his engine is doing, thus saving fuel. So again, this long run started on lap 43, so they've got 58 laps to go on one tank of fuel. So it's not impossible, but it's certainly harder. I think if you haven't started saving really from the drop of the green flag, you're in a bit of trouble. I think Carter Casey is definitely a part of that group. I think he has to hope for a yellow in order to essentially hard reset the field. Everyone gets 4 tires and fuel because of how long we've been on this particular run, and then try and hold on to that race lead as best you can ahead of some of iRacing's best, like Thomas Lewandowski and Malik Ray. But now just 17 laps to go as Solo, Lewandowski and Ray are beginning to catch Carter Casey. We think they might have just saved enough now. They're starting to push a 34.5 for Lewandowski compared to a 34.9 for Carter Casey last time round. That's 0.4 of a second in Lewandowski's favour. So now, are we starting to see a crossover point, Dustin, where these guys have saved enough and they can start to push, and this strategy is starting to pay dividends for them?
I don't think so. I don't think there's going to be a position where you can push. I think if you push, you're increasing your odds of running out of fuel. I think you got to keep saving till you know 100% for sure you can make it. Even if they're going to run out in the last lap, it's very, very, very possible. Now, if you're Casey up front in the 18 truck, here's the deal. Your bet is made. You got what you got. You're begging for the yellow. If that yellow never comes, guess what, buddy? You're running out of fuel. It's the unfortunate news, but he's taking a big risk right now, and I just don't think he's going to get the reward for it unless that yellow drops. But it's iRacing, and sim racing, anything can happen around any corner, so don't count him out quite yet, because that 18 truck of Casey is very well still in this baby. We're seeing Malik Ray. It feels like he ticked up a little bit. I think he also has saved his tires a lot to where a lot of these guys are just reeling their way back to him. Something to keep in mind as well. But he's very aware of the trucks around him and how much they have saved, and knows that realistically he's going to have to get up there, catch that number 8 truck, seal the deal, and go make it happen. He's going to have to go earn this thing. But do you take the chance of burning up more fuel, burning up more tires? We got 14 laps remaining when we get back around to the line. We got a long way to go on this baby as far as fuel mileage. It seems like a very short time, but These trucks can only make it so far before they're running out, and we're just waiting to see. If they run out in the last lap, it's going to be a heartbreaker. We've seen it happen time and time and time again here on iRacing. Will it happen here tonight? Or will we get an underdog winner that played the strategy right? Or will we see these guys who came and hit pit road played it out, like Barry, who's running in the 7th position? Will he be able to get up there and let all these guys run out of gas and snag that W and snag that win and take home $250 here tonight?
Well, definitely, obviously, it's the money race. You want to put everything on the line to try and claim those prizes, obviously, as we've previously mentioned. If you win this race, you have the choice of either $250 cash prize or a 3-foot trophy. For those over in Europe watching, it's about a meter tall. So definitely some big prizes on the line. So naturally, you'll want to risk it all. Carter Casey making his bed now has to lie in it, as he's going to come to 12 laps to go. He has to beg for a caution period unless he is going to run out of fuel. The old adage goes in auto racing, in order to finish first you must finish, and at this rate, I don't think Carter Casey will finish unless there is a yellow flag. Obviously, we've seen guys run out on the last lap before, as you've mentioned, Dustin, both on iRacing but also in the real world. If you watched the NASCAR Cup Series race last weekend at Worldwide Technology Raceway, that exact thing happened. Ryan Blaney in the 12 truck run out of fuel coming to the line, and it was his teammate Austin Cindric in the 2 that won that particular event last weekend. In the sim racing world, we'll see if anyone steals a win in a similar fashion, but currently still leading this race with 11 laps to go, Carter Casey, but we're not confident that he's going to be able to make it on fuel. So Thomas Lewandowski might be the net leader as he jockeys with Jeffrey Eddy. Jeffrey Eddy trying to unlap himself there in the number 58 machine, but Thomas Lewandowski, judging by track position, beating Malik Cray by about 7/10 of a second, with Michael Hovlidison just 7/10 behind them, as well as Daniel Solo in that particular scrap, rounding out the top 5. Is Thomas Lewandowski, Dustin, at this point the truck to beat?
Quite possibly. I just don't know if it's a guarantee he can make it to the end. The fun thing about this race, we got 3 battles going on. We got Casey up front. That guy is racing himself right now. We got Thomas running in the 2nd position. He's racing Malik, that's on his rear bumper, and they're on a separate strategy. And then we got everyone behind them who is trying to race each other after coming to pit road to make sure that they got enough fuel left. I believe we got a truck into the wall. Will this be the yellow flag they need? The 28 is going to make it to pit road, and he is going to keep it straight. So we are going to stay under green flag conditions with 9 laps remaining from Homestead, Miami. Malik getting up on the wheel. He has made it to the rear bumper of truck number 8. Just what can he do with them? The top 3, put them all under a blanket because they're getting ready to race this baby out for the win and race it out for $250 on the line with 8 laps remaining.
It's crunch time now for these drivers. The entire top 3, as you see at the top of your screen, just separated by 0.4 of a second. We are running on board with current NASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series driver Malik Cray. He's driving with Spire Motorsports in the Coke Series. Right now he's driving for $250 or a custom trophy, whatever he chooses should he win this race. But currently taking the lead, Thomas Lewandowski in truck number 8 snatches it from Carter Casey, but looking from the deck here to truck number 8, there is someone who doesn't want to let him have it easy. The 15 of Malik Cray takes 2nd place. Carter Casey down to 3rd. There are just 7 laps to go now here at Homestead. That's just over 10 miles to decide who will win $250 or a custom trophy. And I think these are now your 2 trucks to beat. This is your fight for the race victory. 6.5 laps to go, Dustin. Who's your money on?
Oh, man. I mean, I gotta say, I think the guys that came up pit road, I think they made the right call. I'm betting on the guys that came up pit road. I'm really liking some of them, but just don't know if these guys are going to be able to stretch it. That's my big question. I mean, they're going to start racing each other right now for that money prize, and there's a good chance they're going to run each other out of fuel for that prize. Neither one of them may get the win, but the race is on. This time by, it's going to be 5 laps remaining. We got a side-by-side battle going in a turn number 3 and 4. Who's going to get the upper hand? Malik Ray to the lead, clears him. Not without a little bit of contact, though. He's going to slide up right in front of him now that 8 truck is digging. Off turn number 4, put Malik Ray to the point with only 5 laps remaining here from Homestead, Miami. Will Thomas return the favor and get to the rear bumper? Malik Ray. Is this battle on Barry running in the 3rd position? He knows he has enough fuel to make it to the end. He's dropping the hammer behind him, and he's on the move with a little bit fresher tires. Here comes Barry, now going for the lead if he can potentially get up there.
I'll tell you what, fingers crossed behind my back, Maurice Barry might have found the winning strategy. He might have come to pit road at the perfect time. He's got a tyre advantage over Thomas Lewandowski and Malik Ray. Just 4 laps to go. He might have caught the leaders in the nick of time here, because he's getting to the inside of Malik Ray. Maurice Barry side by side with a Coke Series driver now, here at Homestead with 4 laps to go, fighting for a money race victory here in Maconi's Fast Fridays. Malik Ray will not give this up without a fight. Thomas Lewandowski looking to capitalise on any pandemonium that may befall these 2 drivers in front of him. We're going on board in the cockpit of the 34 of Maurice Barry, looking through the windshield. That's your leader, Malik Ray. But look at the run that Maurice has off of turn number 4. Just 3 laps to go now. Maurice has to make his move. He has to make his move now if he wants to win this race. Malik Ray running about a truck width up off of the bottom, trying to conserve momentum through the corner, trying to quell Maurice Barry's runs off of the corner to make sure that he can keep the position down the straight. But look at Maurice Barry now, way up to the wall. He takes a different line, gets clean air on that truck, has the higher average minimum speed through the corner. It's going to give him a massive run onto the straight. There's just 2 laps to go. Does Maurice Barry go for it into turn number 1? He's in the slipstream of the 15, isn't quite there. Again, Barry takes to the high side. Just 2 laps to go, Dustin.
Here we go. Barry outside with the momentum. He may be just trying to run him out of gas at this point. It's down to the point of where you may just have to drive through him. Here he comes to the bottom. Will there be a block from Ray? Oh, almost contact. There is contact. Maurice into the door of the 45 machine as they're coming to the white flag. And Barry, get it done on the bottom. Ray with the upper hand. The white flag is waving. 1 lap to go. This is going to be a full sim by the 34, but it's not going to be enough. They both move up to the top. You see Malik Ray trying to be defensive. He's going wherever he's going to be. But for $250, can he draw the line on Maurice Barry going into turn number 3 and 4? They're both going to send it, but will he move him? He's there. He's going to move him to his rear bumper. Here he comes to Maurice Barry to the bottom, side by side. Is there going to be a door slam? They're door slamming each other. Here we come, boys. At the light is a photo finish. I don't know who won it. Maurice Barry
Beats
the
Coke
win.
Series driver Malik Ray. What would you do for $250? Maurice Barry strutted his stuff. He beat and banged his way past Malik Ray for the race victory here at Homestead. Maurice Barry wins the money race here in Fast Fridays in his first ever start. And what a driver to topple. Coke Series driver Malik Ray, after an awesome run, will have to settle for 2nd. But a photo finish at Homestead. What more could we have asked for there, Dustin?
Oh man, we was wondering what strategy would have been the right one, and I guess it was to come up pit road, get the extra tires, but also at the same time, he had to drive through him. They both made the right call for strategy. That 34 had to drive through him. He was willing to do it for the money, and he got him a nice payday here at Homestead Miami Speedway.
Maurice Barry victorious from Homestead Miami Speedway in a photo finish against Coca-Cola Series driver Malik Ray. Moved him into turn 3. Had to do what he had to do. Going into turn 3, they were beating and banging on the straightaway. You see here on the replay. Photo finish out of turn number 4. They were beating, they were banging. Malik Ray almost hit the wall. Malik Ray returning the favour. Maurice Barry up into the 15, and as they crossed the line, not quite touching, kept it clean for the most part. We thought for a split second Malik Ray might just have the momentum, but the line by 0.015 seconds. Maurice Barry victorious in the money race at Homestead, Dustin.
Incredible. I mean, that was an iconic finish here for the Maconi Entertainment. Side by side at the line, it was a photo finish. And after 100 laps from Homestead, this is what it came down to. Incredible. From start to finish, strategy. I asked the question at the very beginning, what are you willing to do? We've seen it right there. He was willing to move a Coca-Cola Series driver to win, and he did.
Well, that was an awesome finish there at the end of Homestead Miami Speedway. Here are your results from Miami here at Fast Fridays for the money race. Your race winner, the 34, Maurice Barry, all the way from Illinois, is going to beat NASCAR driver Malik Cray by just 15 milliseconds for his choice of either $250 or a 3-foot custom trophy. Just behind them, ex-Coke driver Thomas Lewandowski will round out our podium finishers. Michael Flitterson with a great run to go from 10th to 4th there. For the driver at the number 81, Daniel Solo rounds out the top 5 with another big move up 17 spots from 22nd. Just behind them, Carter Casey tried the strategy, almost worked for him, had to relinquish the lead with about 4 laps to go. Ends up P6 for that driver. Tyler Bowers, Nick Hicks for Spencer Walter Bias, Matheson rounds out the top 10 there here at Homestead. Just behind them, Cameron Kane in the 037 there, all the way from New England, will finish in 11th, just behind, or just in front of Jeffrey Maconi there in the 03. Jonathan Sellers in the number 1 will finish in 13th position there. Jeffrey Eddy will be the last finisher on the lead lap. Michael Budd finished 1 lap down there in the 39, with Gabriel Gatti finishing in 16th. Alexander Ortega, we saw trouble find him late on in the running. He'll finish 17th. That rounds off your classifier finishers with Jared Davis, Joseph Glucksness, Jason Parkinson, Craig Martin, John Petrozel, and Mitchell Carter, the 23 starters, the last 6 of which failed to find the checkered flag. Dustin, final thoughts on that race, because that was mental.
Man, I mean, I just can't recover from this one. It was wild. From start to finish, you never knew what you were going to get, and you didn't know who was going to win. Even after the finish line, I couldn't even call it at the line. It was so close. So, I mean, we came here and we got everything you asked for. You got all the entertainment you could imagine in this one. It was incredible. I'm sure we got some interviews coming up, but man, oh man, I mean, big congratulations to Maurice Barry.
Definitely. Well, we are going to have some post-race interviews tonight on Maconi Entertainment following the race at Homestead Miami Speedway. First up, it's going to be second place finisher Malik Cray, NASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series driver with Spire Motorsports, finished second tonight. He's standing by with Dustin Bullock.
So, Malik, did you know that you had enough fuel to get to the end, and when did you decide to pull the trigger and drop the hammer?
With like maybe 10 to go, I knew that I was gonna I knew that I was gonna be close on gas, and I mean, it just didn't work out.
Can you walk us through the final lap and the contact that happened?
He knew that he couldn't pass me cleanly, and I don't mind him hitting me or whatever. So I was kind of like trying to, prepare myself to get hit in turn 3. And I did, but he had fresher tires than me. So when he hit me, I mean, there wasn't much I could do. I started to hook him head on out of 4, but that would not be a good look for me. So I decided otherwise.
You drove a heck of a race, young man. You definitely more than earned that one. But unfortunately, it didn't work out at the end. You both put together an incredible finish, an incredible show. Congratulations on your second finish. I know it's not quite the win, but definitely more wins to come in the future.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you.
So that was Malik Cray, second place finisher. Now standing by, he's just joined the first transfer room. Ex-Coke driver Thomas Lewandowski, P3 tonight there. 1.1 seconds off the leaders, but you were right there at the end. How do you evaluate your night as a whole, Thomas?
I'll definitely take it. I mean, I wouldn't have ended up on that strategy if I didn't screw up my pit stop, sliding through my stall. So I figured, just do field strategy to try to win because I was probably too far back, after I lost those spots. So, a little disappointed, I didn't, quite save my tires as good as I needed to there because Bleak definitely had me out, gunned on the tires, even though I had more fuel. So, but other than that, I can't complain. There's good, and Malik's a world class driver. So, and I haven't raced much with Maurice, but he was real fast today too, and yeah, good job those.
Well, obviously, we saw those kind of, I guess, big two contrasting strategies when it came to fuel economy, because I think we knew kind of with about 30 to go that it was going to go green to the end and it was going to come down to fuel mileage. But what kind of made you elect to take the option of deciding to save fuel on the racetrack as opposed to making the extra pit stop that we saw guys like Maurice Barry do? What was the deciding factors for you for taking that particular strategy? And yeah.
I always err on the side of saving the fuel because even though when those guys pit, even though they really don't go a lap down for very long, if a caution comes out again, at some point that they're going to pit for tires, so you keep all that track position. So after with 25 to go or whatever, you're pretty much free rolling the caution there to keep the track position, which I always prefer.
Oh, Thomas, it was definitely a good run from you. Obviously, third place, never something to scoff at. But any sponsors or any shout outs you want to give for getting that number 8 truck up onto the podium tonight, Homestead?
Just got a shout out to all my friends at the Drill Isle Team Speak. I know Bob, I think, was watching. Bob Bryant, former driver as well. But John, Marcus, Larry, my friend Larry Pace, he's got his first late model race coming up here next weekend. So I just want to wish him, good luck and hopefully nothing breaks in the car. And thanks to you guys for, broadcasting and putting this on.
Of course. Well, congratulations again on that P3, Thomas. Thanks for your time, man.
You guys have a great night.
So that was P3 finisher Thomas Lewandowski, but now standing by is race winner Maurice Barry. Maurice Barry, driver of the 34. You have won tonight at Homestead. Photo finish with a Coke Series driver. Did you have that on your plans for this evening?
Oh man, can you hear me good? Can you hear me all right?
Yes, you're all clear.
Oh man, that was just intense, man. I appreciate the guys that threw up the race. Really, I just saw the race pop up, and I was like, oh, it's Homestead, Trucks Homestead. I like that track, and I didn't realize that it was broadcasted and it was for money and stuff. Like, that's the part that really shocked me. But I appreciate everybody watching, everybody that tuned in to see me do it there, and yeah.
Well, you've won a money race on iRacing's official Twitch and Facebook channels, so I would say you've definitely had a good night there, Maurice. Obviously, again, I asked this question to Thomas Lewandowski as well. We had those two kind of big contrasting strategies of, do you make that extra pit stop or do you try and save fuel on the racetrack? And I guess it came down to 15 milliseconds between you and Malik at the line.
Oh, yeah.
But what was that deciding factor for you? What made you decide that you wanted to take that extra pit stop as opposed to try and save fuel out on the racetrack?
Well, the first thing was I was about 5 laps short when we went green from the restart. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to save a lot. I'm not really that good at saving fuel, and that's gonna take a long time. Like, you're gonna lose a lot of time anyway, saving all that gas. So I just decided to push and try to pull away as far as possible from the people that were saving. So then I could pit and then have a small enough gap that I'd be able to pull back and, come out front.
Well, of course, it all came down to that last lap battle with Malik Ray. I just want to know, from your perspective, what was going through your head when you came to the white flag, when you're going into turn 3? What's the thought process? Is there a thought process, or is it just send it, hope for the best?
Well, the thought process was that just pray that he doesn't go to the top, and if he didn't go to the top, I just had to move him out the way, and that's what happened. So, yeah,
It worked out pretty well. But obviously, there is one more question that we have to ask you. Is that obviously, having won the Fast Fridays money race, you have a choice, my friend. of either $250 or a 3-foot tall custom trophy. What is your choice going to be, Maurice?
Well, I think I'm gonna have to take the money because I really don't have any space in here for a trophy, but it would have been nice.
Trophy's always good, but I think we all like cold hard cash, so $250
Oh yeah.
never hurt anyone. So not a bad choice either way, but obviously congratulations, Maurice. Any shout outs or sponsors you want to thank for getting that 34 into victory lane tonight?
Man, I'm out here by myself pretty much. I just thank the people that's watching. I thank Malik for racing me clean. I think Mr. Maconi throwing up the race. And one of my friends, I saw him in the chat, Adrian, he was in there cheering me on. So thank you for that. Thank you guys.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations again, Maurice. Thanks for your time tonight, man.
Thank you.
So that was race winner, Maurice Barry. That concludes our post-race interviews. Dustin, you've heard the thoughts from our drivers now. Obviously, we especially touched on the contrasting strategies that those guys took. I'm just curious, obviously, I know you drive on occasion as well. If you're in that sort of situation where you're a handful of laps short, where you realistically know it's going to go green, do you, if you're presented with that choice, do you make that extra pit stop, or do you try and do what Malik and Thomas did, where you try and save fuel out on the racetrack?
I always try to take the gamble, and sometimes the gamble works out, sometimes it doesn't. Here today, it most likely would have worked out. Got a little shaky there at the end. Going back to the interviews, obviously Malik did make a comment and said that he couldn't race me clean, so he just moved me, which is what happened. But we got $250 on the line. I wouldn't expect it to be clean here come the end, and just unfortunately, contact came out. The fans won here tonight more than anyone, and that's just something we got to keep in mind.
Yeah, well, we definitely got a barn burner finish here at Homestead, but after an awesome race, I think that is about all we have time for here from the beaches of Miami. Obviously, thank you to all our race sponsors, Maconi Setup Shop, Maconi Competitor Zone, as well as to iRacing for hosting us on all their social media channels. Calling the action tonight was myself, William White, alongside DLB TV in the booth with David Kreutz up in the production booth. Thanks a million times to all our viewers for watching tonight's racing actions, and we hope you'll stay tuned to all of our social media pages for our next race in Fast Fridays, as well as all the events that we have broadcasting over here. Thanks to all the staff for the work they bring in bringing this racing to you. This has been a production of Maconi Entertainment. We will see you at the checkered flag. Good night, everyone.